special selection. We're just going to go straight into the special selection. Tomorrow night, we have to start. After the welcome, go straight into the special selection. Man, Andrew. But after the welcome, go straight into the special selection. Yeah, I'm serious. We won't have enough time. Can you do a 2-minute thing, Lulu? I just don't know what took so long. So what are we doing? Is it me to Lulu? And we have such a great topic tonight. So as we are here, please join us as we go into a night of learning and self-reflection. Again, welcome to Detox Cafe.
Hide me from the sea. secret counsel of the wicked, from the workers of iniquity. Hear my voice, O God, in my prayer, preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Oh, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the workers of iniquity. Hear my voice, oh God, in my prayers. Preserve my life from the fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the workers of the iniquity. Oh, hear my voice, oh God, in my prayers. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the workers of iniquity, the workers of iniquity. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the workers of iniquity. Now unto him who is able to keep me from falling. Amen.
Again, we'd like to say thank you and welcome to Detox Cafe. We are so excited that you guys are here, and we're also excited that this topic is going to be amazing. Tonight's going to be nice, short, and sweet. And as you can see, the title of tonight is Are You the Frog? And the theme of this weekend is I Kissed My Last Frog. And it's a very interesting title, and actually came about on the world says you have to kiss a lot of princes and princesses, and before you even get that, you have to kiss a lot of frogs before you get your prize. But what do we have to do not to go through that process? And also sometimes some people don't like to point the finger to themselves, that we all have our struggles, we all are going through something. And tonight's topic is, are you the frog? And we're so excited to have Dr. Judith Gabriel here with us. She's a doctor in public health. She's a family therapist. She is very familiar when it comes to Detox Your Life. And we're so excited to have her here along with our co-host, Myrna Nash. And we're just going to get right into it again. Tonight's going to be nice, short, and sweet, but it's going to be full of just self-reflection. And what I would love to get into tonight is when it comes to frogs, there's a lot of hopping around, right? So there's a lot of instability. When we feel fear, anger, uneasiness, and a lot of times we as people, we act like that. And the question is why, right? Why do we feel that we have to have a flight risk? Why are most of us flight risk when it comes to not wanting to deal with ourselves or deal with somebody else as well? So what I would like to know is, what is the root cause of that? And what does abandonment issues look like within a person?
First of all, I just want to say thank you for the invitation, and thank you for being here. It's been a while since before the pandemic.
Yes.
So it's a pleasure being here with, everyone live or in the audience. Like you just mentioned, I was reading that, proverb or saying about frogs, the way they leap, the way they act is like very unstable. But first of all, before we address about anything about instability, about success in life, and let us talk about how we behave the way we do, which is, I think, that's the motive of the whole. The whole idea of why we are here tonight. Why my perception is like this? Why I'm so unsettled? Why I'm so easily angered? Why I'm so whatever the situation is with my character or my personality. By reviewing, we find out a lot of studies have been done about human behavior. Okay, it's not only behavior, but we're talking about also the way we think, the way we perceive things. And I believe we are all placed in relationship, with whether we want it or we like it or not. We have different types of relationships, right? So regardless of who you are, this is your topic tonight. This is regarding you because you are a human being having relationship, interacting with others, whether it's family, whether it's husband and wives or friends or at work. We have all of those wonderful relationships, and God created us to live in relationships.
Right, correct.
So therefore, how I can better myself, if I can use that to be better, to provide better in my relationship, or what can I do, in terms of relationship, in terms of responsibility, to know, okay, it's not about me, just in quote, about the narcissistic behavior. It's not all about me, it's about everyone else in my environment. So, but for me to be able to tackle anything about that, I need to know where I came from.
Right.
How did I get into this world? And what happened to me before even I was born have a tremendous impact on how I perceive others and how I perceive myself as a human being. For example, a lot of studies have been done regarding why we suffer so much as human beings, why we cannot provide, that beautiful relationship that we were created to provide. Well, unfortunately, we have no control of so many of them. For example, the way I was born. My perception of abandonment, for example, might be different than yours. The reason why, because I was born from a 16-year-old girl. So from there, we have issues of rejection. And then these are all the rejection because 16-year-old, they're not happy, it's an accident and everything. Even before I was born, all of those were working toward who am I going to be today. So there was rejection, okay? So my soul, my spirit was rejected because that 16-year-old didn't want that pregnancy. That would be different for somebody else who was born from a family, mother, father, and everything. They're happy, we're going to have a baby shower. That baby is going to be different in terms of abandonment, rejection, humiliation, and all of those things. And then these are like the 5 wounds that we have in our souls that prevent us or that affect the way we think and the way we act. Okay, I can be so very bossy, so very impatient, it just before it was all before I was born. It was before when I was born. How was I treated as a child? Was I treated with love, with loving parents, with everything? Or was I treated with rejection or abandonment? Like some of us, our family have to be to leave us when we were kids, to look for life, for good reasons yet, but it was interpreted as rejection or abandonment. Okay, and then we have also experienced humiliation in life. When we go to school, kids bully us for whatever that we have, or because we didn't look like them, we didn't talk like them, we didn't, whatever it is, or origins, or whatsoever. So we have suffered all of those wounds, and then now here we are, about to have embark with another human being who have all his wounds or her wounds about rejection, abandonment, okay, and humiliation, and what we call trahison. Betrayal. Yeah. Okay, so these are all the wounds that we have suffered, that make us who we are today. And then we cannot ignore them, because you're going to be a better husband or better wife or better mom or better dad or better sister or better co-worker or better teacher or better who you are, if we are aware that, okay, I am like this because I was abandoned as a child. I was bullied as a child. I suffered, so many trauma as a child or as an adult or even as a young person. Because we keep suffering those. It's not only before we were born, but also, it didn't stop there, unfortunately. Some of us suffered before we were born, but we continue suffering along the way, childhood, in your youth, teenagers, and all the way to today, where we are having this conversation. So yes, what makes somebody behave the way they behave, or act the way they act, or perceive the way they perceive, it all has to do with all of those wounds that we carry in our soul. We call them, in psychology, the 5 wounds of the soul. Les 5 blessures de l'âme. The 5 wounds of the soul that every human on this planet either experience 1 or 2, but most of us experience at least 3 of them. Oh my God. Because in regardless of how you come, but you have gone to school, you have mingled in the society, you have acted with other people. So yes, therefore we are going to suffer all of those wounds, and they are going to shape the way we see the world and the way we see ourselves. If we were betrayed, and then we're gonna become so angered, we're gonna be so hard, so harshness and everything. We want people to pay because I was betrayed, so I cannot trust anybody anymore. So that trust issue is gone from our soul because that wound is there. So it is all about all of those wounds that we carry, not only before we were born, but also while we are growing.
So with what she just said, Myrna, right? When it comes to, and of course, the 5 soul wounds: rejection, abandonment, humiliation, betrayal, injustice. Out of those 5, how many? Out of those 5, how many do you think that you have witnessed?
How many of the 5 wounded do you believe most people have experienced?
Or that you have experienced.
Or that I have experienced, okay.
Right. Rejection, abandonment, humiliation, betrayal, injustice.
My goodness. So I would say, first and foremost, I want to thank you so much for our invitation this evening. It's such a pleasure to have because I never thought of it. And to be honest with you, I think that you've uncovered so much. These 5 wounded I mean, because it comes from the soul, and as you mentioned, it's coming before your existence, maybe from a mother, as you mentioned, that didn't want their child, maybe in the case of abortion, right? And it wasn't successful, or the mother was raped or abused,
Right.
and here we are. So how do we uncover that, especially when we're not aware of it, but we are born, right? And then we have certain irritation about ourselves. And we think that it's only coming from the surface, maybe because we didn't have our father present for most us women, maybe because we encountered very traumatic experience and relationship. So we think that that's what molded us. But you're saying right now that we were molded of these emotions prior to even the decision making that we've made. So even with what we experience prior to even birth, it's probably why we made certain decisions in relationship, friendship,
Right.
work, the way we see ourselves. So I mean, this is not thought. So how do we come to a place where we sit and uncover these wounded emotions that we
The
have?
root causes.
Well, I was expecting that question,
Right.
because yes, how do you? I mean, do you know? Because most of us would know. I would know. I heard my mother had me when she was 16. I heard the story, and then that always made me feel so bad about myself, you know. And I didn't know why I was acting the way I was in school. I was like a very academically oriented, so I want to be the best of everything because I was unwanted.
Mercy.
This is the effect it had on me. But some other people, it would have a different effect. It would have a negative effect. Oh, you didn't want me, so I give up on everything. I'm good for nothing. They didn't want me anyway. So yeah, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be doing nothing. So it has all of those wounds. By the way, they have can have positive effects, and then they can have negative effects. Okay? So I am not even going to say it's the way we do about them, because to me it's innate that the fact that I know that's the effect it had on me. And some other wounds that I have, humiliation, for example, or betrayal. I had betrayal when I was at the point of my life that I would not trust anybody in my life. You know what I'm saying? So we all have experienced those at one point in life or the other. But the reason why we are here is to discuss, okay, so how I'm going to know how to tackle those and then work on them and then accept, okay, this is the other one that I'm dealing with, and then the other one that are making me the way I am. So therefore, the first step really is by doing what we're doing right now. Talking about it, acknowledging it, like knowing about it, actually knowing about it. Right? A lot of people don't know. A lot of us didn't know. I didn't know any better. So when we call to healing your emotional wounds, it is essential. I would say it is important so that you reach a happy place and just stay there. Okay? So the first thing we need to do is to identify, to being able to identify them, what each of them are. Okay, that we know about betrayal. We know we suffer from a betrayal, but we don't know the characteristics of the person who suffered the betrayal. We might have an idea, but the person, okay, who suffered, for example, betrayal, that person lacks of tolerance for the life of others. They don't tolerate lies. Like if somebody lied to me, it's like I'm done with you. That's the way I used to be. If you lie to me, do anything else to me, whatever you do to me, but do not lie to me. That's when you get the devil out of me, when somebody lied to me. Okay, so because I suffered betrayal, so that's one characteristic trait that we need to discover. When you were talking about the trait, the behaviors and everything, difference between the traits that we have, the character that we have, flaws against exactly. So that's a different things when somebody being narcissistic or somebody just have flaws. The flaws we didn't do anything about them. We had nothing to do with them. So I lack of tolerance, but often feel guilty, okay, when If I lie, for example, I feel terribly guilty because I hate lying. I was zero tolerance. And then a constant need to improve. The person is never, they were like, when you say the sky is the limit, that person that was betrayed, they want to prove something. They want to prove, it's like their ego is so highly, unfortunately, they want to prove they will do anything to be successful in this life. Okay? So, and then they have a special need to be worthy, to feel important. I was betrayed. When I use the I, it's not personally I'm just using the word I. I was betrayed because you saw somebody prettier than me, because you see somebody more worthy than me whatsoever. So what changed my conception of me now? Okay, I want to be better, me. So you don't betray me, so nobody else betrays me. So it's a constant battle against that inner self that wants to be better, and against all odds, against all cost. And then they attach very high importance on their reputation. Okay, so these are all the trust issues. They will not trust anybody. They have lack of tolerance. They are very impatient, and then they are very so impatient. So they will not tolerate anybody's mistake. When somebody make mistake around them, they can be very impatient. Because I was betrayed, that's why I'm acting like this. So all of those traits, I say, okay, I'm going to work on them. I'm going to try to be patient now. It doesn't have to be exactly the way it is. There is no gray area with somebody that has been betrayed because they want it to be either black, either white. So once you know about the characteristics, that's when you really can work on them. But if you don't know anything about them, of course, you're going to just think it's okay. Why am I like this? Or I am not like